Let's go. It is July the 25th, 2018. I'm resurrecting this channel. I renamed it Tampa 2 Drew. Break back into this, talk a little bit of sports. Now, a lot of cats, a lot of dudes, a lot of people doing sports, talking sports, and that's great. And I enjoy it. But I think that's just, you know, everybody's got their own little thing, right? For me personally, I love talking sports, but what really fascinates me more than anything is, honestly, if I'm gonna be honest, I love watching press conferences. I love watching these interviews, whether it's coaches, players. There are some that I enjoy watching more than others, but I really dig it. I enjoy it a lot. And I'm big time into body language, right? The words, right? The words that people say in this world, right? That's great and everything, but really, body language is where it's at, okay? Because if you want to know the full story, you want to know what's really going down, the body language, right? I think there's a statistic that says that like 80% of communication is nonverbal. I'm a firm believer in that. I really believe it. And, you know, in my personal life, I've kind of talked about it on my other channel, dealing with people who lie, you know, people who manipulate, stuff like that. I've just grown more and more to just love the understanding of body language. It's big for me. So when I watch a press conference, I love watching body language. I just watched Mike Evans on his open introductory press conference for training camp this year for the Bucks. I'm a huge Bucks fan, hence the Tampa 2 Drew. Obviously, they don't run the Tampa 2 system anymore, and that's really just kind of old and faded and just it's over with. But I still have a lot of love for that system, and it brings back a lot of really good memories, and so I just kind of roll with that nickname. Now, I watched this press conference, and going forward, you know, ultimately what I'd really like to do on this channel is I'd love to actually, like, I don't know, have a corner shot of me talking and actually break down the press conference as they're talking and kind of go through some of the movements and just the way that they're acting, because specifically in this video, I watched it and, you know, I'm thinking to myself as I'm watching this press conference with Mike Evans, either he is really thirsty, right, or there is something going on here why he continually keeps drinking this Gatorade or Power. I think it's a Gatorade, but I think they had it covered up, that he's drinking throughout this press conference. A lot of questions we knew were going to be asked about Jameis Winston and his suspension for the first 3 games of the season. And of course, Mike Evans is going to answer these questions as any professional should answer these questions and give the fans the reassurance that, you know what, everything's going to be fine. We're going to be okay. Nothing to worry about. Well, let me tell you something. Whether Jameis Winston is suspended or not suspended, that first 3 games, you should be worried if you're a Bucks fan, okay? You really should. If they come out with a win, I'll be like, okay, cool. 2 wins, I'll be absolutely through the roof. If they were to win all 3 games, I would possibly have a stroke and fall over on the floor, because I just don't foresee that happening, right? They got the Saints, the Steelers, and the Eagles. This is not, I mean, this is going to be a pretty challenging start to the season. One of the reasons why I don't have a lot of hopes for this season to begin with. And, you know, last year I went into that season, I had such high expectations. I was drinking the Kool-Aid. I was just, yep, this is it, right? Jameis Winston another year in. The offense is going to get clicking. We got Deshaun Jackson. We got Chris Baker. Oh, my goodness. We got our offensive line is going to be ready. And guess what? The same issues. The same exact issues. Now, ultimately, I don't really care right now who the quarterback is, who the running back is, right? Who the secondary is. If the offensive line and the defensive line don't get their act together, it's going to be a repeat of the 2017 season, right? It's going to be the same exact nonsense all over again. They've got to get those things cleaned up. Which is why I get so frustrated when everybody talks about, oh, we need to get rid of Jameis Winston because Jameis Winston is the problem. Jameis Winston needs to grow up, and he needs to get over this nonsensical, you know, just whatever that he keeps pulling and he keeps doing, right? Let's get over it. And before I continue on, just know I am like the biggest Jameis Winston supporter. I love Jameis Winston, right? I'm a Seminole. I'm a homer. I love Jameis Winston, okay? Let's just put that out there. But I am sick and tired of having to defend this guy. Like, get over your nonsense. Now, I know this was a couple of years ago, and maybe he hasn't done anything since then. But I need for you to straighten up, dude. Straighten up. Having said all that, and how frustrated I am with defending him, what frustrates me even more than trying to defend him on that is the fact that everyone wants to blame Jameis Winston for everything that's gone on that's been bad with this team over the last few years. Let's get something straight. That offensive line has been abysmal, absolutely trash, garbage. Absolutely garbage. Ridiculous. Putting it all on Jameis Winston is a complete joke. The dude had no time. The running game was just gone. I used to tell people all the time when he played at Florida State, you want Jameis Winston to succeed, give him a good running game. When I look back at the Seminoles and I watched Jameis Winston, when they won the national championship in 2013, Devonta Freeman was an absolute beast. Absolute beast. 2014, the team kind of had some setbacks. It was a really young team. They struggled. Now, they were still winning, but it wasn't the same team. And then what happened? Well, what happened was Dalvin Cook came in and just went into absolute beast mode. So when Jameis Winston's got a running game, he succeeds. But that's much like every other quarterback in the NFL. I get into these debates with people, and it blows my mind sometimes because I admit fully I'm a homer when it comes to Jameis Winston. I'm an absolute homer. I see him through rose-colored glasses. I get it. Yes, this is true. But I get very frustrated when we're talking quarterbacks in the NFL because I don't care how much of a GOAT Tom Brady is. If he's been playing in the Browns organization for the last 20 years, he ain't got one Super Bowl ring. Not one. And he's not labeled as the GOAT. I don't care what anybody says. I'll go to my grave saying that. And speaking of Tom Brady, you know, I hear a lot of Eagles fans that want to claim that, well, you know, they're going to be even better this year. If the same thing had happened to the Patriots last year, right? If you had Tom Brady go down and a backup quarterback comes in and they win the Super Bowl, every New England hater in the entire world would be telling you that it's the system and that Tom Brady's overrated, yet I don't hear that about Carson Wentz. I'm sorry. I love Carson Wentz. I've said this before on my other channel. I love Carson Wentz. I really do. I like the kid a lot. But come on. He was part of a really, really good system. And Nick Foles absolutely proved it. Because Nick Foles was hot garbage everywhere else other than Philadelphia. He was literally ready to retire. So don't tell me that Carson Wentz didn't get any benefit from playing in Philadelphia. With that team, with that coach, with that formula that just brewed all together in the most perfect storm type of way, which is what has to happen in order for a team to win a Super Bowl. It is not just the quarterback, and I'm sick and tired of hearing it's just the quarterback. If it were just a quarterback, the San Diego Chargers would have a couple rings by now, and that Manning brother up in New York wouldn't have any rings by now. And that's no disrespect to the younger Manning, but I'm saying, to me, Phillip Rivers is the better QB. A lot of people are going to disagree with me on that, and trust me, I get plenty of people that tell me I've lost my mind when I say that Phillip Rivers is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But I love Phillip Rivers. I think he is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I think he's been surrounded by a hot mess, bunch of guys that keep just... I don't know. I can't even get into that subject right now because it just frustrates me too much when I start talking about some of these quarterbacks and how people just... I don't get it sometimes. I just do not understand how somebody can see something so clear as a quarterback discussion and just say, oh, well, this guy is absolute garbage. And then this guy, you know, get rid of Jameis Winston. But in the same breath, they'll sit here and talk about how Carson Wentz is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Like, put Carson Wentz on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the last couple of years and tell me that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are that much more successful. Maybe a couple of games because he's playing a little bit safer. But with the way that defense was playing, the way that offensive line was playing, the way that the defensive line wasn't getting any pressure, no running game, You really expect me to believe that? You don't think that LeGarrette Blount coming over to the Eagles last year, you don't think that helped them at all? Forget about the mindset of a guy like LeGarrette Blount coming over, but just what he did just running game wise, and not even just him, but the entire offensive line, the way that, whatever. People are set in their ways, right? It's like preaching to the choir. You're either going to agree with me or you're going to disagree with me. But in this particular case, I'm sorry, I just feel some type of way. I've completely gone sidetracked in this conversation, and I apologize. I meant to really just talk about a little bit about Mike Evans, but this is kind of just all over the place with this video. I don't even know if I'm going to post this, to be honest with you, because when I go back and listen to this, I may be like, dude, you sound like a complete fool. So I don't know. But I'm probably gonna post this for the heck of it. I don't know. We'll see. But as I say on my other channel, I'm gonna keep grinding. I'm gonna keep moving forward. I'll always trust the process. And I don't know. We'll see what happens with this channel and what I continue to do. But I'll talk to y'all later. I'm out.